Hi everyone, I am so excited to show you how to make this pizza box card using MFT Stamp's new Pizza Maker die set and Pizza My Heart stamp set. We're also going to use that cute little chef from the Recipe for Happiness stamp set that was released several years ago. So let's just jump in and get started. So I die cut all the pieces ahead of time to save time. And what we're working on now is the crust to our pizza. So I'm using some Copic markers in some mid-brown shades so that we can have a nice crispy crust for our pizza. So I'm just going around the edges with this E35. E31 was my base, and then my midtone is E55 for this. And I'm trying to keep the center or the part that is closest to the middle as light as possible, just to help make our overall pizza pie dimensional. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to take some E39 and run it along the edges of our die cut just for a little something extra, just to darken up the edges there. The next piece that we're going to work on is the sauce. So this is the piece that sits right inside the crust, and we're just going to color the edges with some red Copic marker. I'm using R29 and R39 here. And I'm not coloring the entire die cut piece because the cheese, that's that little piece that was up in the right-hand corner a second ago and just disappeared, that's going to cover most of this die cut piece. So we just need a little bit of sauce poking out from the edges. And then once I get a nice enough of a saucy blend here, then we're going to move on to making our cheese. And for the cheese, the colors that I'm going to use Y21 in the center, and I'm just kind of scribbling it in there because I do want to add a little bit of texture to the top of the pizza. So cheese kind of, it doesn't look smooth or flat. There's going to be little craters and whatnot in there. So I just tried to quickly add a little bit of texture without spending too much time worrying about it. The edge of our cheese is going to be YR27. And then we're going to blend that in towards the center with some YR24, and then get our YR21 and just blend that all towards the center, and then go back over the whole thing in a second with our Y21, which was our lightest shade. And I'm just doing that little scribble motion with my YR21 to help with the little like cheesy cratery effect over the top. Now we are going to color in our peppers. So we're going to have lots of toppings on this pizza. I thought that we could make some peppers with some yellow green and then with some just regular green. So we'll have two different shades of peppers. We're also going to add some mushrooms and then some pepperoni and olives, and then some little onions as well. There are some other little toppings that you could add to your pizza too that are included in the die set. I didn't include them here. I think there's something that looks like they could be pineapple slices or ham slices maybe, and then maybe another type of pepper. So you have lots of options for different types of toppings for your pizza. Okay, so getting back to the coloring for these little peppers, I'm just going to add a little bit of contrast along the edges, and then we'll move into our mushrooms. So for our mushrooms, I'm using some warm grays here, and I'm just taking one edge of the mushroom and just shading it with some W3. Then I'm going to add some little dots with W5. So those are the little freckles or speckles or maybe little pieces of dirt you might see on the mushrooms. I just wanted to get a little bit of that effect. And then I'm going to blend everything together with a W0. And then I'm going to use a little bit of W1 here and there just to kind of make them look nice and finished and kind of mushroomy. The next little topping we're going to color are our onions, and I'm going to make onions in two different colors. So we're going to have some light purplish onions with BV31, and then we'll make some darker purple onions with this BV34. And I'm just using one shade here. I didn't do any shading on the individual pieces because they're really tiny. You could also cut all of these little pieces out of colored cardstock. And if you wanted to add a little bit more detail, you could color over or shade the cardstock with your markers. That's another option. But honestly, it was easier for me just to cut everything out on white cardstock and then color it in. These are little pepperoni pieces, and I have two different shades of pepperoni. We have the lighter red in the upper corner, and then our darker pepperoni pieces along the bottom, and those are made with R29 and R39. And I think I end up in the pizza using the darker little pepperonis for this pizza. And then we're going to add a little bit more detail to the pepperonis with some black marker and some white gel pen. So I'm just putting little specks. So these are those little thingies you see in pepperoni. Sometimes they could be white, sometimes they could be black. It could be little spices, little just things I don't want to think about, but all those little things you might find in pepperoni. Here are our olives. So I'm just punching out the little center hole. And now we're going to put everything together. So for the crust, we are going to make dimensional. So I cut out 3 different crusts, and I'm just going to layer them all together. And the idea is that the crust is going to stand up a little bit more than the rest of the pizza itself. Just so that because that's how crust would look in real life. It would be kind of puffing up from the cheesy part of the pizza. And I'm just using some art glitter glue here to glue everything together. And then I am going to just trace my pizza on a little piece of scrap paper and then cut this out and then attach it to the back of the crust. And the reason that I did this was that I didn't want to dye or set everything into the pizza box when we're done. I wanted to have the pizza completely formed before we put it on the card. So that's why I'm taking this extra step. So now I am just gonna attach that little bottom part, and then we're gonna add our sauce. And you'll see there are little edges, so you want to match up the edges just right. It's not a perfectly round circle. All of the pieces here, they have some little ragged edges, so you just need to match them up so that everything fits together nicely. And then that's our cheese. And I did get some little red stains there while I was coloring on my new tonic craft mat, but we're just gonna put some toppings over that. And I'm not sure that I'm crazy about the craft mat, so I broke it out because I thought it might be an easy way to do alcohol ink coloring. The mat that I normally use, this would stain if I were to color directly on it, and I didn't want to bring out some white cardstock or cardboard, so I tried the tonic mat. I have it for left-handed. For left-handed people, I have the travel one and then the large one, but honestly, I'm just not that crazy about it, so it's probably just gonna sit in the box until I'm inspired some other day to use it. I love my little craft mat that I have here, which is actually a tonic product, but this is my favorite surface to craft on. Okay, so now our little pizza is done, and I've layered the little toppings on top of each other, and I think it's just adorable. And now we can move on to making our box. So this is a piece of paper. I cut it from an 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock, and it is 4.25 inches wide, and then it is 11 inches long. So we're going to score it at the 1/4 inch mark, the 3 3/4 inch mark, the 4 inch mark, and then the 7.5 inch mark and the 7 3/4 mark. And then we are going to cut the piece at the 8 inch mark. So we only need 8 inches. And then this is what our box is going to look like. And now we're just going to fold in on those score lines that we made. And if I talk too fast, just you can rewind that section and just look at where the little hearts are on my scoring board. That will tell you where you need to make your score marks to make the pizza box. So I'm just reinforcing the folds with my bone folder here. And I just wanted to come up with a real simple way to make the box without, without getting too tricky. And this was the easiest way that I was able to come up with just this this design with the sides open, and I'll show you how we're going to add the sides in a second. So the top piece, the important thing to note is the piece that only has 1/4 of an inch tab, and the bottom, this is the bottom that I have my fingers on here. This has 2 of the 1/4 inch tabs, and then we're just going to cut inwards just like so. And we're going to do the same on the other side of the box. And this is purely decorative. This is just so that when we put the sides in, they look like they are folded together. I cut out 2 1/4 inch strips of 3.5 inch little cardstock for our sides of the box. And I'm using some Darice foam tape here. And we're going to use 2 layers of the Darice foam tape. And I'm just going to cut off that excess there. And I'm going to do the same for the other side of the box. So if you want this to fit just perfectly, you're going to cut these little 1/4 inch strips just a little bit shy of 3.5 inches. The box itself is 3.5 inches. So you just want to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room there. So I cut it like 1/8 of an inch below, I think 3.5 inches. And then I just attach them to the sides. Now I'm going to put some glue onto that front tab. And then we're just going to fold it over and hold it until it sticks. And now it looks like it was a box that was kind of folded together. So we cheated a little bit there, but this was the easiest way to construct the box. Now I'm going to take some gingham patterned paper, and this is 3.25 by 3.25, and just attach that to the inside. And then we're going to put our little pizza on top of that. And then another little gingham rectangle up here. This is just the decoration part. This is where we're going to add our sentiment. And I stamped this with the Pizza My Heart stamp set. There are some other great sentiments as well in that stamp set. If you want to have a different sentiment, you could have Pizza Will Never Break Your Heart. I'm so thankful for you and pizza. You had me at pizza. Here's a big slice of happy, and no one can top you. So lots of cute little sentiments there. And now here is that chef from the Recipe for Happiness stamp set. So I just stamped him with some black memento ink. I'm using some Express It blending card paper. It's my favorite paper for Copic coloring. And we're just going to color in his skin first with some E21 for the base. And then E13 for those little shadow areas like underneath his chin, underneath the hat. I gave him some little rosy cheeks with an R20. And then I'm just going to blend everything together with E21. He is so small, this little guy, that you really don't have to add as much detail as I have here. I was just kind of having fun. I think this is the last project I'm going to be able to work on until I get back from Creativation next week. So I am actually flying out to Phoenix later tonight. This is Sunday. And I have a work retreat in Tucson for a few days, and then I'm gonna drive down to Phoenix on Friday morning, and then try to hang out at Creativation for Friday and Saturday, and then I'll be flying back on Sunday. So this is the last time I think I'm gonna get to make any stuff until I return on Sunday. But I am really looking forward to going to Creativation and seeing everyone and seeing all the new products that are coming out. I went for the first time last year and I had a ball. It was really, really cool to, meet all the different card makers and the different small company owners who make all these great stamps that are so important to all of us. And it was really, really fun. So I will give a report when I come back and just let you know how that went and what some of the new things are, new trends that are going to be coming out. All right, so back to the coloring. So our little chef has a white chef's outfit, and I'm just adding in the shading with some warm grays here. The chef in the other card example is with cool grays, so you can decide which you like better, and the colors are pretty much the same. The values are the same, so you could use cool grays here as well, using the same number marker if you want to follow along with your coloring with the cool grays. Now for his little mustache, this is probably my favorite part of this little image. I just love that curly little mustache. We're going to use some C7 and C10. And then the same for the shoes. And then we're going to give him a little red handkerchief around his neck. So just some simple shading here with R24 and then some R39, and then we'll blend it all together with the R39. And then that will pretty much do it for his kerchief. For the buttons, we're going to use some B24 and B26 here. So the colors used in this card are like the fog gray is the cardstock, and then we have that red and white gingham paper. We're going to use a little bit of blue cardstock to decorate the front of the box. So I just thought that having our little chef, his colors be red, white, and blue, just work to tie the whole card design together. So here's our little die cut piece. I love this little chef. He is adorable. Okay. Now for the front of the box, I'm just taking that leftover part of the gingham paper that I have, and I'm just adhering this pizza sentiment, which is in the Pizza My Heart stamp set, and I just attach them in like a wonky fashion. I didn't want it to be exactly straight. And then I'm just going to attach it to the front of the box and then just cut off those overhanging parts with my scissor by turning the card over and just getting right up to the corner and just cutting off anything that is hanging off. And then our little chef, we're going to place him on the right hand side and then add some little hearts. These are some little hearts I think that come from one of the die sets in the new Honeybee Stamps release. I think it's the heart die set. It has hearts in all different shapes and sizes, and I just love it. So I just added some of those little die cut hearts here on the front and then also on the inside of our pizza box card. So here it is. Here's our little chef on the front of the card, and then you open it up and we have our little pizza that says, "I love you with every pizza in my heart." And that is it. So that is our card for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you give the Pizza My Heart or the pizza box card a try. It's so much fun, and I think it would make a really special card to give to a loved one. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon in another video. Have a great day.